Terrain could be a challenge at times too. We could work in places like Khe Sanh, which was a well-familiar name. It was a small airfield. It was up in the northwestern part of South Vietnam, and that was hilly. It was, and of course, most of everything we were doing there, we had to get down pretty close to the ground. We were dropping things like snake eye bombs, you know, the ones with the fins on them. They retard them, so you could do it at a fairly shallow angle, a dive angle. And the Zuni rockets, the 20 millimeter cannon, and all that stuff. You were just down there in the weeds with them. And so those were challenging. The most challenging missions for me were at night when we had to fly under the flares. We didn't have any night vision goggles or anything back then, so you'd have a C-130 flying over the target area and he'd drop flares and you had to make your runs underneath the flares. You lose a tremendous amount of your depth perception in there, and it can get a little hairy flying those things at night, especially in places like the Eshaw Valley, things like that, where the terrain was a real factor as well too.
Yeah, a little hairy, I might say, is an understatement. That sounds
Yeah.
really hairy. What was it like coordinating with C-130s, having them drop, dealing, again, like, I imagine you have a bright flare, you can see the ground, but that's also messing with your natural night vision as you transition to probably deconflicting from your wingman, et cetera.
Yeah, you had several challenges there too. Those Zuni rockets that we talked about, if you had your eyes open when you fired one of those things, you lost your night vision completely. So you actually got yourself in a position where you're ready to fire, close your eyes, shoot the missile, and then you can open your eyes back up again so you didn't go night blind on them. But the 20 millimeter cannon, of course, we use those a lot at night as well too. And we'd load some tracers in there so you'd be able to see where your hits were and all too. So it was a challenge. I have to say the night flying under the flares was probably about the hairiest.
That sounds really sporty.